Okay, now we're going to talk about changing the delivery model, and please welcome from Costain, Simon Ellison.
Good afternoon. Simon Ellison, Highways Sector Director for Costain. I look after everything highways related from advisory, consultancy, design, technology integration, project delivery through to maintenance and operations. And I've been doing that role for 5 years. The strategic challenge I'd like to talk about today is changing the model, the delivery model. But before we dive into the model, what is it we're trying to deliver? And I think it's that. That's our why and our purpose. It's improving people's lives. So it's improving road safety, user experience, improving value for money, delivering smart infrastructure that's fit for society today and for tomorrow. So hopefully, we're all aligned on the common purpose, because that really is fundamental to change. In terms of delivery model, then, what do we mean by delivery model? Well, again, for me, that's end-to-end. So from identifying the need, procuring the solution, delivering, and then maintaining and operating the service. So why does it need to change? Hopefully I am on the roaming mic, so I can read the quotes myself. So the traditional delivery model is no longer fit for purpose, Simon Murray. And we're struggling today with the current delivery model, our current approach, never mind what's around the corner and where infrastructure development is going to take us in the next era, and with the latest technology, innovation, and advancements. So that's absolutely right. Business norms need to change. We need to move away from the turnover model to performance-backed profit. Peter Adams, earlier this year, couldn't agree more. If we focus more on the outcomes and how we can work together to deliver better performance rather than win a competition, how much more effective could we be? The supply chain that delivers our infrastructure seems locked into a cycle of low margins, low investment, and dysfunctional relationships. Infrastructure clients group. And I'm sure that many in the room, like myself, can relate to that. Contractors are behind the curve in technology. But I think the most alarming stat there for me is from the Mace report last year. So over the last decade, in terms of improvements in productivity in the service sector, 30%, manufacturing 50%, and in our industry, flatlined. And that's not a stat we can be proud of. And I know productivity is not everything, but many would argue that for a country to improve its standard of living, then over a period of time, there's a direct correlation in terms of the outputs per worker. So what do we need to do to change and improve? Well, there's obviously been a lot of studies, a lot of reviews, government-backed, and I'm sure Keith will expand on those later. Government have absolutely acknowledged that investment in infrastructure is absolutely key. They've also acknowledged that compared with other sectors, we're not getting the value we should be. And I think this is summed up well in the ICE published report, Transactions to Transformations, or Project 13. And that really focuses on 5 key areas for improvement. So governance, focusing on performance management, measuring added value rather than just focusing on cost. Organizations, having the right organizational structure, and even more importantly, aligned incentives. Integration. So we've heard about procurement, but making sure procurement's absolutely fully integrated, that we're using common processes, and we've got live controls. It talks about intelligent and capable clients and owners, which is obviously really important, and about digital transformation. So are we following that advice? Are we moving forward? I think this image for me sums up the maturity along the transformation journey in terms of delivery model. It's definitely not a flick the switch overnight, but there's a real feel of excitement, anticipation. The brake's been removed, so there's a new freedom in terms of challenging the norms. But it also feels like something's missing. Maybe it's pedals to really lead and drive with pace, and then to sustain that momentum once we really get that moving. So, what is stopping us? What are the elephants in the room? And these are friendly circus elephants, so below the elephants are also opportunities. Trust, or lack of trust, is one of my biggest frustrations. So despite all the acknowledgement and alignment I've just been talking about, as a supply chain partner or contractor, I don't always feel that my motives are trusted in terms of being authentic. So how do we change that? Collaborative behaviors, absolutely fundamental. Project 13 will work, but it's easy talking about it. It's much harder to change our behaviors and actually make it happen. Real, long-term, collaborative relationships. I've talked in the past about the frog and the scorpion story, and a long story short, they agree they're going to put all the past behind them. They've found a new world to live in where they can work together in harmony. To get there, they've got to cross a river, and of course, what happens halfway across the river? The scorpion, who's been carried by the frog, stings the frog, and just before they both drown, the frog says, "Why did you do that?" "Sorry," says the scorpion, "old habit." And I see that too often. So in alliances, even within teams, same organization, it only takes one person to say, actually, the here and now is more important. Forget the future, forget investment in the program. And people revert to type in terms of behaviors. So that's a real challenge. Investment. So the UK economy is the 5th largest in the world. Yet in terms of investment in infrastructure, we're ranked 24th. And I know you can measure that in different ways, and it's not that straightforward. But if we just look more locally at our organizations, how much are we investing in the transformation program and what needs to happen? Diversity of thought. We all need to look around the room in terms of our diversity. Compared with other sectors, compared with society, we're not diverse enough. So how can we improve society if we don't represent society? And again, in terms of diverse skills and people, I'm sure Keith will expand on that later as well. And all 4 of these, for me, affect the ability to change, or definitely affect our belief that we can change and our commitment to making that change happen. But like circus elephants, we can change our natural behaviors, and if we believe in the art of the possible, we can achieve amazing change. So I certainly believe we can transform the model, and together we can improve people's lives and all our lives. So let's make it happen. Thank you.